Same old shit, just a different day. I'm clocking in and clocking out to keep the bills paid. At this 9 to 5, temporarily. If you not trying to live your dream, we are not the same. Same old shit, just a
Greetings,
different
ladies
day.
and gentlemen. Thank you for joining me in another edition of Res View. Today, I have a very, very special guest today. My trustee, my homeboy, Jared Smith.
What's happening, bro?
I'm sorry, Jay Smith. I just had to just go ahead and put that out there. Hey, but he's an extraordinary comedian. Make sure you check him out. We'll give all that information later. But today is a special episode, all right?
It is.
So we like to talk about here at Res View stuff that is for the culture.
Yeah.
You know,
okay.
we don't limit it to just hip hop. We have everything. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So today I want to get into something very special. Let's talk about an individual who was electrifying. That was just like sending all kind of waves and everything through the 90s and going into the early 2000s.
Yeah.
His name is Sisqo. Sisqo from the legendary group Drew Hill. Drew Hill. You know, they're from Baltimore.
Baltimore stand up.
So you got to make sure you say Drew Hill.
Drew Hill.
So let's go ahead and get into it. I feel like Sisqo is underrated. That's right. Sisqo is underrated. Now, when I say Sisqo is underrated, what do you think about that? What's your take?
You got to think about Sisqo's influence on not only pop culture but R&B as a whole. The brother had blonde hair before anybody was doing it.
That's
platinum
true.
blonde, as he would probably correct you on.
Right, real
quick.
But
Chris Brown has done that now.
Yep.
Then Usher got
Usher
a little
did
patch, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And even in the hip hop culture now, you got the little thought babies running around with the little blonde patches right here.
Exactly.
And I can honestly say Sisqo was the first person I remember in pop culture who did that.
Exactly. And I'd say the same thing. The dude's vocal range was crazy, bananas, and his style. Everything that people talked about was gay at that time, they're doing it now. And he was doing it before everybody else was.
Right.
So him being underrated, I feel like you said, just his whole take on pop culture. And I think I saw in his interview, he said that in the first album cover that Drew Hill had, that they wanted him to cover up his head because he had dyed it blonde.
Right.
But he knew ahead of the game at that time, like, dude, like, you have no idea what the hell I'm about to do with this.
Right. And you had people out there making the little jokes and wisecracks, but that's what happened when you that far ahead of the game. When you ahead of the game, you got to take the licks for everybody else.
Right.
He had blonde hair. What they say, Malcolm marched so Martin could run.
Right.
Sisqo marched so Chris Brown could run.
I'm talking about run like Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're going to get into some other special topics. So, all right. So we talked about how he was different. Let's elaborate a little bit more. Okay. I talked about his vocal range. Also, I feel like him as an entertainer.
Yeah.
Like now these days, besides Chris Brown, and I think Usher does it, you got Beyonce, but a lot of these singers, like urban singers, don't do any type of dancing. I feel like Sisqo and Drew Hill were part of like the last era of, man, we gotta be able to dance on stage, and they still doing it in their 40s now.
Even Big Woody come out there at the end of the show and do it
and try to get, tell me what you want.
Yeah,
but
he can still get down. But yeah.
So you know what I'm saying. I feel like on an entertainment aspect, and just seeing the recent interviews that they've done, it's like we're so used to just seeing like average, mediocre stuff.
The bar has been lowered, dog.
It has.
Besides, I'll give B2K the credit of being the last boy band who was dancing, but they wasn't singing.
Nah. Not like
Omarion was singing, but everybody in Drew Hill could blow the house down.
I'm talking about go in. So when we talk about his influence on style, pop culture, singing, like in his vocal range, how was he as a singer to you? What you feel?
I feel like he is the most underrated vocal acrobatist that this time period, I would even say last 20 years.
20 years.
To say that?
Because it's 2018.
Yeah.
We only got 2 more years for 2020.
And even the people who can sing don't really showcase their vocal ability. And no shade to Chris. We know Chris can blow, but you don't really hear it on records like that.
No.
You have to catch an Instagram live and he in the background doing some whoo.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So like his vocal range, I feel like, you know, it's going to get into the topic that I want to get into on. But let's go to what made Drew Hill as a group stand out. Because I know you had Sisqo, but together, what was it about Drew Hill that stood out in the 90s?
So in the late 90s, early 2000s, you had your cats like 112 kind of coming into the game, or Was Jagged Edge back then too?
Yeah, they
But
count.
they were. I would say they
big.
were baby. They were They were the kids of Drew
Right.
Hill.
Yeah. Right.
They still had the same kind of Jodeci thug appeal, but with the kind of vocal ability of a Boys to Men.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like not only were they roughnecks, you knew they were from B-more.
Right.
You knew they was fighting everywhere they went. You know what I'm saying? They was R&B thugs.
Yeah.
And they was kind of the last of the real R&B thugs who could actually sing, but wasn't too thuggish to dance either. So it made them, I would say, 360 entertainers because they could dance, sing, had a look.
Mm-hmm.
Snuck a fat dude in there, nobody even mentioned
At all.
It's like you didn't even think about the fact of everybody skinny except one person.
Exactly.
He dancing too. Nobody even thought about it.
he was going in, but I mean, like if you look at the Tell Me video, Jazz was getting it in.
Yeah,
you know,
Jazz vocally is just like if you got to be a real R&B connoisseur to know each of the members of Drew Hill and their different vocal strengths.
Yes.
But all them cats could sing down. They could stand and flat foot sing. They ain't have to do all the runs and all that, but they could do that too, and that's what makes them so
Authentic.
There we go.
No pun intended.
Right.
But I do feel like how he said, I feel like they were a perfect mixture of Jodeci and Boys to Men. Jodeci was known for more of their urban, they were urban.
Yeah.
I feel like Boys to Men was that too, but they sang ballads.
And they were clean
cut. You know what I'm saying? Jodeci were clean cut, but they had the rugged, Puffy wanted them to be like, just hip hop.
Right,
and I feel like Drew Hill just took all that and just went ham with it. And their hits, like they have so many different hits that like rose to the top of the charts like crazy. Yeah. So, we could be going on about that all day. So it goes to my next thing. When we talk about Sisqo, let's get back to Sisqo. Incomplete. Incomplete.
A karaoke favorite.
Listen to this though. That was a #1 record.
Yeah.
On the Hot 100, the Billboard Hot 100 charts.
Not the urban charts.
No.
Not R&B.
And let's talk about what kind of song it was. It was a ballad, right?
Yeah.
And in that song, he was talking about just the love and just the sound of it. We don't hear #1 records like that. I mean, you might say Adele maybe. I think that's the closest thing.
But to have a black artist doing black music with a #1 Hot 100, not R&B charts
in the country.
Back in the day when I was younger, man, you could be riding in the car with your mama. My mama used to listen to the white hip station where they kind of speed the BPM.
Yeah.
Bet the thing would be like, girl, you look good once you bet the thing.
Like real quick.
They speed it up.
Yeah.
They played it on that station as well as the urban station, as well as the other urban station with the weaker tower.
Like the top 40 stations.
Yes.
That is crazy, man. And Incomplete. Please go to iTunes, Apple Music, wherever to go check that song out. Like I remember it being popular.
Yeah.
I just don't we were young at the time, real young.
Yeah.
So the fact that I saw that it was #1 in the whole country, like
it's a big deal.
When is the last time we've heard a song like that be #1 in America? I tried to do my research and I just couldn't find anything, which leads me to my next thing. I feel like Sisqo was the last traditional male R&B artist to be accepted in the pop world.
I definitely agree with that.
Definitely. He was the last one. I'll say it again.
Because
he was the last traditional, male R&B artist.
So break down what you mean when you say traditional.
Traditional.
So you can say, folks, what about Usher? Usher dibbled and dabbled in the pop world extra hard.
Yes.
He should have been accepted by the pop world.
Right.
Doing songs like
OMG.
Sisqo ain't got no... The closest Sisqo had to OMG, and it's probably going to your next talking point.
What, Thong Song?
That's the closest.
But that wouldn't even, this is the thing. Let's break down pop. Pop isn't, to me, a genre. Pop is just popular music. I feel like Temptations were pop.
Yeah.
Because my girl, white folks, black folks, young folks, all kind of people like that song. Right, it's just whatever is the #1 song in the country, or top 10 songs, those are pop.
Right.
Pop records. But like Bodak Yellow, that went #1, but it went pop because it was just so popular in the country, caught wind of it and everybody knows about it.
Pop is when everybody find out about it.
Right. So we can say I just don't know any artist. Like Chris Brown can sing, Usher can sing, but Sisqo could blow. You could get him in church. Like The Love We Had Stays on My Mind. Sisqo could sing that like he was at church and just going in with the choir. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I don't feel like we've seen anything like that. So back then when he dropped Thong Song and that album, Unleash the Dragon, I think that was the name of it. I think that came out in '99, and then Thong Song debuted in 2000. It was a part of the album, but anyway. So with the platinum hair, I just remember seeing him with Pink and all of the hot people at the time on MTV.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
TRL #1. How many weeks in a row?
Like that's crazy just to think of like a soul type of singer to be doing that. We don't see that no more. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just incredible. So I'm like, Sisqo is just so underrated for that, and I don't think we knew how good we had it at that time.
And this is no shade. Look, I come from an R&B connoisseur kind of family. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely, this man knows about it. Shout out
in
to
my
Philly.
house. Right. In my house, there was Shawntae playing, Anita Baker, Stephanie Mills. Babyface. Like my first favorite song. I'm gonna tell my age here a little bit.
Okay, what's that?
My first favorite song was Babyface Whip Appeal.
Woo! Wasn't that in the 80s?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was 2 years old, like 88, 89.
Yeah.
My first favorite song. I remember that song. I say that to say this. My daddy rocked with Sisqo. Sisqo the kind of artist that old people would respect, but young people respect too, from the leather, and anyway.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying, but let's get to that. Like, I feel like the traditional R&B artists, I made a video, I was going to make a video about this, I think. So, back when our folks were growing up, the Mariah Carey's, Whitney Houston's, who else? Jodeci's, Brandy, Monica, they were young, but they were traditional R&B. So your mother would go buy the record and play it in the car, even though they're younger. Now at our ages, we can't even imagine listening to somebody under the age of 29.
And this ain't no shade to Bryson Tiller, like Trap Soul, you know what I'm saying? I felt the album, the other one after that, it was straight.
Yeah.
But my dad ain't going to buy Trap Soul.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And like we said, no, y'all keep doing y'all thing, but my dad ain't finna buy no Tory Lanez.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? When we were growing up, I just felt like those type of artists that I named were the type of artists that your mother, your folks, even your grandma probably wouldn't mind listening to. Now, if you in the car and then, your mama hear Bryson Tiller, Tory Lanez, or even maybe K. Michelle, like, they're looking like who's this? Like, and this make me want to go back and listen to some old stuff.
They may, even though Sisqo, he got slightly raunchy as far as like cursing and stuff, but it was still something that somebody who really appreciated music could appreciate, and they could look past the niggas. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You can look past the bleeps, and still enjoy the music.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So as far as like what they do now, R&B as a genre, the R&B that we knew, like anybody basically who was doing a New Jack Swing era, Boyz II Men, Sisqo, I think Destiny's Child were the ones that kind of transcended into kind of something else, you know what I'm saying? Because they were pop but still had everything. But I feel like nowadays you can catch them on the road, and when you go to one of their shows, it just takes you back to a place that you just remember. But I don't feel like in the next 10 to 15 years, these new R&B artists are gonna give us that particular feel like they did. But I think R&B as a genre has died down, and I feel like all those groups who do shows together, like Jagged Edge and Sisqo, Jagged Edge, Drew Hill, H-Town, all of them will group up and click up and guy in them and do shows and stuff like that. But like, it's sad that it had to come to that. But what do you think was the death of quote unquote R&B?
Whew, you're going deep now, bro.
This is an interesting one.
All right. So the fact of the matter is, R&B artists felt, in my opinion, R&B artists felt like they had to have a rapper on their songs. So even back to the late '90s when Maya did the "I'll be moving."
Right.
Now no limit soldiers keep it rap.
With Silk the
She
Shocker.
throw Silk on there. Like she really didn't need Silk.
Right.
And it's just that compromising of that not believing in the craft of R&B, I think, kind of led to its detriment.
Right.
First you put a rapper on the hook, and then rappers start doing more R&B-esque songs like who I ain't hating on, but Ja Rule.
Ja Rule, yeah.
Start singing, and you know, without Ja Rule, you wouldn't have Drake. But that's a whole nother whole nother story.
Like I think I talked about that already. So,
but just that compromising, like with anything, you give somebody an inch, they're gonna take a mile, and before you know it, you can't tell if somebody's a rapper or a singer.
Right? And I
it
think
don't matter because we don't really hold them to standards of vocal excellence.
Right.
Tory Lanez.
Okay.
In my opinion,
he's a singer or rapper.
I can't tell. The issue with Tory Lanez is, to me, he sings too well to rap. So I can't take his rap serious because he sounds too good as a singer.
Right.
But he rap real good too.
Right.
And it just made me kind of like, it makes me feel like you don't have your own sound. You just sound like the best of everybody.
Right.
But if I had to pick out a Tory Lanez song, I can say, oh yeah, that's his style.
Now this is what I heard. Somebody said this, and I don't know how true you could think it is.
He was writing for everybody?
No, not about him.
Oh.
They said New Jack Swing killed R&B.
You think so?
I didn't say I think so.
I never think about that.
But think about it. When you had New Jack Swing, hip hop, I think a lot of the traditional R&B artists before
that Brown started rapping on songs.
Right. I think that they didn't like that. Like the rapping on songs was okay, but the beats and the production that Teddy Riley was doing, they were straight hip hop beats, but had R&B songs on them. That became popular in the it thing. But at the same time, you still had those slow ballads, and Mariah Carey was killing. So no. I can't really say I agree with that, but I can say it was a start.
It was a branch on the tree, but that shouldn't have killed the tree.
Nah, not all the way, because you still had a lot of slow ballads at that time that came out.
Because Michael Jackson was doing New Jack Swing. Nobody want to talk about Remember the Time.
Right.
That's a New Jack Swing song.
Yeah, it was. Teddy Riley did the song. So we could do, I promise y'all, we're going to do another episode when we talk about the death of R&B. Okay? All right, that was this episode of Red's View. Thank you again for joining me, Jay Smith. He's a great ass comedian, y'all. Y'all need to follow him. How can everybody follow you?
Yo, check me out at Is That Jay Smith on Instagram. Go to my Facebook page and like it. Is That Jay Smith. Anywhere you want to go, Is That Jay Smith. And soon, shootyourshot.com coming soon. Go buy some merch. Go buy some t-shirts.
Is this the first place you announced that?
This is the first place.
I'm a media outlet now. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, who needs Vlad TV when you got Red's View?
He didn't throw in a shameless plug.
Blah, 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 blah.
And you already know where to find me, at JRed, at JAYR3D on all social media platforms. Once the album is already out, get it on all digital outlets. And I have a very special song and video that is coming out called Young, Black, and Gifted. Make sure that you check that out. But that has been our time. Thank you. Leave comments. Subscribe to youtube.com/WeAuthenticMusic. youtube.com/WeAuthenticMusic. We out. Ready.
Same old shit, just a different day. I'm clocking in and clocking out to keep the bills paid. At this 9 to 5 temporarily. If you not trying to live your dream, we are not the same. Same old shit, just a different day. I'm clocking in and clocking out to keep the bills paid. At this 9 to 5 temporarily. If you not trying to live your dream, we are not the same. Oh no, we are not the same. We don't have the same thought patterns. I'm trying to fly up to the sky while you climb the ladder. I'm on a different path while you staying in your lane. Instead of buying a ticket, I'd rather be on stage. You rather follow procedures while I would take a chance. I'd rather find a for myself than wondering what if. You rather have a salary with 401k.